You know, it's really hard to give my views on certain games. For example, Final Fantasy VII, without looking like a hater who only votes for Ocarina of Time in those GameFAQ polls or is a total Cloud fanboy. So before I say anything else or make some witty remark, I'm just going to say, Final Fantasy VII is fine. I mean, it's certainly not a bad game. I personally think it's a good game. Okay, it's a very good game, enjoyable, but definitely not something I'd boast to be possibly the best game ever. So the thing is, do I dislike FF7 now once I realize how overrated it is in the general internet fanbase? I don't think it's fair to feel any kind of negativity towards it just because of the flooding fanboys, and just not to be sexist, flooding fangirls either, because let's face it, most girls won't be able to resist this. Thankfully, since I only think FF7 and Ocarina of Time are just great but not the best games ever, I can safely say to those elite screw mainstream pricks that, yes, I think it's a great game, but I like so-and-so better, while getting ready to run just in case they didn't hear the last part as they are too blinded by hipster aura. But recently, there is a game that I have trouble talking about without getting me offended. That's right, it's none other than Undertale, or some would call it the next Five Nights at Freddy's. No one recommended this game to me per se, it's just that there was a time when it was released where the entire web was literally covered with this thing's essence and trying to avoid it is like trying to dodge rain. And I totally never tried doing that when I was a kid, by the way. So naturally, I got interested in this new fad and got even more interested when I found out it was an RPG. Sort of, it has that RPG element mixed in with some bullet hell which I thoroughly enjoyed as a child despite never being able to beat a bullet hell game because the colors and effects felt like I was going through the world's hypest acid trip. And it's also kind of a visual novel? Thankfully, after reading more about it, the visual novel choices are essentially about morality values, instead of trying to creep around the whole school researching what panties each girl wears on different days of the fucking week. So I guess I was done with the thought. Since I'm also indifferent about the graphics of the game, the 8-bit art style mixed with some 16-bit here and there didn't bother me one bit. If anything, I found it to be quite charming, like the simple otaku girl who is too shy to ask the person she likes because, oh, just fucking confess already! Okay, but in all honesty, the graphics and art style are great, and it matches the tone of the plot as well. What? It still sucks because games should be 3D and have good graphics and resolution to be enjoyable? Well, it's a good thing that all AAA games these days who meet those aesthetic expectations do turn out to be a great experience for us all. It's honestly an argument more worn down than the question of who's better, ninjas or pirates. Games don't need good graphics and we should all just really accept that, no matter how much of a special effects whore you are. Besides that, one thing that I really do appreciate in a game is the soundtrack, something that kept Dragon God 3 from just being another waifu simulator with more plot holes than a Diglett cave. I listened to a couple of the tracks and it was pretty much the final factor that slapped me in the face and pulled me into buying Undertale. I think the soundtrack is so good that even if everything else about the game had the same amount of value as Ride to Hell, I would still give Undertale a pretty decent score because holy shit did I need tissues after hearing those tracks. What? Not to fap, I was in tears. Fortunately though, after playing the game itself, it completely zoomed past every expectations I had for it despite hearing nothing but positive feedback from the community, so my expectations were already pretty high, unlike for some games. Since I don't feel like spoiling anything from the game, I'll just say that it's a great game, and definitely one of the best I've played in the recent years. Now, the strange experience I had with this game was after completing all of the endings, where I totally didn't cry at all, by the way, when I had a conversation with an acquaintance of mine. So what have you been playing? He said. Undertale, I said. Oh, I think that's overrated, he said. Oh, I didn't know you also played it, I said. I didn't, I just watched a playthrough of it on YouTube, he said. I mean, where to start? I know it's their opinion, yes, but opinion based on the wrong experience still makes you sound like a total asshole that deserves to be butt-fucked by Chrono's hair. A game's a game. It's something that reflects the things you, as an audience, do, which is why those David Cage games are complete masterpieces in its storytelling and choice-making. Otherwise, you're just watching a movie. A game is made to be experienced like a game, and not a movie. If there's anything you can criticize after just watching a playthrough, it's the playthrough itself, and not the game. So I stand firm in saying that you can't say something is overrated just by watching a fucking playthrough. But it still isn't as bad, I guess, as those people who hate the game or refuse to even pick it up just because it's goddamn overrated. I guess with popularity does come hatred, but I still think it's a stupid reason to hate something. Like how Justin Bieber was popular back then, but still hated by many. Personally, I never minded the guy because it wasn't like he's done anything bad. Well, okay, I did hate him after finding out that he was kind of an asshole. But it's not like Undertale ever swore at its fans or throw a tantrum, so there's still no reason to hate it. It'd be like me not wanting to watch Game of Thrones simply because everyone including their moms and stepmoms and even their stepmoms are already watching the damn thing. Or because a certain overweight odorous yellow-fevered road rager loves the show so much that he won't stop whistling the damn main theme like it's the only tune he knows how to spit out. You shouldn't let other people's opinions affect you, or at the very least, don't let it affect you too much, because if you do, it means that you're a societal puppet who can't think for themselves and will therefore lead the entire human race into a true collective consciousness. And we all know how that went for Excelsis. Then again, if you're not a critic, I suppose there really is nothing stopping you from assessing something unfairly and telling your opinions upon others. But at the same time, there's also nothing stopping me from smacking your hating elitist hipster face with a fistful of determination.